Chapter 7. Go, go, go. Jack stared in horror at Annie. She must have borrowed a costume from the theater. He remembered Plato's words. A girl will get in terrible trouble if she tries to attend the Olympic Games. Jack shook his head at her and pointed his finger to say, "Get out of here!" But Annie just waved at him again. Jack kept shaking his head at Annie. He even shook his fist. Annie turned back to watch the race. "It's not a joke," Jack shouted. Plato turned and looked at him. "Of course not," said Plato. "We take the games very seriously." Jack felt his face grow hot. He glared at Annie's back. Just then the trumpet sounded. "The chariots are taking their places," said Plato. Jack saw the dozens of chariots line up on the racetrack. Each chariot was pulled by 4 horses. Jack glanced back at Annie. She was looking up at him, pointing at the chariots. The trumpet sounded again. The horses took off. The crowd went wild. They were cheering and screaming and stamping their feet. Clouds of dust rose up as the chariots raced around the track. Annie turned back to watch the race. She began jumping up and down. "Go, go, go!" she shouted. A few people began staring at the strange small soldier with the high-pitched voice. Jack couldn't take it anymore. He had to get Annie away before it was too late. He shoved his notebook into his pack. "I have to go," he shouted to Plato. The philosopher looked surprised. Jack was afraid to tell him that Annie had broken the rules. "I had a great time, but I have to go home now," said Jack. "Thanks for everything." "Have a safe journey," said Plato. Jack waved and started down the steps. As he climbed down, he saw Annie pull off her helmet. Her pigtails flew up and down as she jumped and shouted, "Go, go, go!" Her soldier cape fell off. Now lots of people were staring at her. Someone shouted for the guards. Annie was too busy cheering to notice anything. Jack moved as quickly as he could, but 2 big guards got to Annie first. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Chapter 8. Save Annie. The guards tried to pull Annie away from the chariot race. Annie looked surprised. Then she looked angry. "Let go of me!" she shouted. Jack rushed down the steps of the viewing stand. The guards were having a hard time pulling Annie through all the people. "Leave her alone!" Jack yelled. His voice was lost in the noise of the race. He pushed his way through the crowd. "Leave her alone!" he kept shouting. "Leave her alone!" Finally, Jack reached Annie and the guards. He tried to grab her, but a guard blocked his way. "Let her go," yelled Jack. "I promise I'll take her home." More guards arrived. The crowd began to shout, "Arrest her! Arrest her!" The guards kept pulling Annie away. "Jack, the story!" cried Annie. "Of course," thought Jack, "the poet's story. This is definitely the darkest hour." He reached into his bag and pulled out the poet's scroll. He held the story to the sky. "Save Annie!" he shouted. But Jack's voice was again lost in the roar of the race, and the 4-horse chariots barreled through the dust. Jack looked around wildly for someone or something to help them. Then suddenly the crowd fell silent. Sorry, I lost my place all of a sudden. All heads turned to watch a huge white horse gallop out of the dust. The crowd murmured with excitement and wonder. The white horse was the most beautiful animal Jack had ever seen. He was pulling an empty chariot, and he was galloping straight towards Jack. And that is the end of Chapter 8. I hope you're liking this format. It's actually going a lot faster than I thought, and it's going really well, especially with 4 dogs around me. But I will be right back with you with our last 2 chapters.